How you doing today? Well, it's a beautiful day. I'm sitting on the back porch. I like to call it God's porch because I sit back here in the morning and it's quiet. And this is where I usually do my listening or my reading or whatever I'm going to do. But I want to talk to you today about another thing, about point of view. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, and I want to talk about a point of view that Paul had. Now, Paul had that religious point of view that when he was growing up, he was taught by the religious people, the law and the things and the ways of the temple. He studied it so much, became a doctor of it, so his point of view was pretty well strict as far as the law went. And we understand how his life reflected his point of view towards sin, towards Christians, or those that believed, because it went against his teaching, or the law. Now, in religion, we have that same process, because now you have to abide by the rules and regulations of your religion, or you'll be cast out. Because if you get to thinking other than them, or your point of view changes, other than what they teach, then you're cast aside, and you're, well, they call it apostate or something like that. And so a lot of religions end up chastising their young and casting them out because their point of view changes. Now, their love for God probably never changed, but their point of view of how to serve Him had. And we see that happen in the same way with Paul, because Paul, on that road to Damascus, had a stepping in with Jesus. I like to call it a change of heart. And in that change of heart, his point of view changed. Now, it was only through the grace of God that he received a change of heart and of mind in order to change that point of view, because then it changed. And in our life, we have the same problem. God gives us a choice. He says, you can stay the way you are and never change, or you can change your point of view towards Him and receive greater. Now, Jesus came with the point of view of having I like to call it a son's heart. He had a son heart because he was the Son of Man and he was the Son of God. And in that point of view that he had, he wanted to do his Father's will. Now, I don't sit in your churches, and I don't sit on your pews for a reason. I used to. My point of view changed. But what changed it? It was the time in which I got closer to God than I've ever been. When I died, my point of view changed over the knowledge in which then I received. Because after I died, I started searching. I started searching for God, the Father. And I found Him. And my point of view changed because He loved me enough to accept me the way I am. Right now, just here right now, the way I was back then. I was a sinner back then, but now I'm here. And I understood it in the prodigal son, because in my life, we are sold into captivity. We are given a name, we're given a religion, and we're given a social status. Now, in our religion that we get, that teaches us about God, and we receive a point of view, whether it be Baptist, Catholic, Mormon, or Methodist, or Jehovah's Witness, or Pray Tell, Buddhism. So I don't know. But your point of view towards God is different because of the way you was taught. Yet His Word is the same today, tomorrow, and yesterday. So there lies a problem within religion because they can't get their story straight. Religion conflicts each other, and they don't really glorify God. That's my opinion. That's my point of view. And with so many, they find heartache in it, because in religion we keep bound to our sins, just like Paul was bound to his sin while he was in the temple. And while we're in the temple, we're bound to our sins according to the law. But in Galatians it talks about when faith has come, we're no longer under the law or the schoolmaster. We should be out on our own so that we can discover God on ourselves and work out our own salvation with God. You see, God is our Father, spiritually speaking. And I guess my point of view changed when I stepped off the pew as being a sinner and stepped out of the church with a new heart. Because when I had the new heart, I went to him as a son. And I think that's looking for the Father. I found him. And in finding him, he turned my heart from a sinner into a son. And I think that's the glory of God. That's a blessing which he gives us so that we understand that we are children of him. And if children, then heirs. You know, Paul talked about getting away from our sin, being crucified, and understanding how that is. And the only way you can do that is you must crucify your flesh. You must set your flesh aside and focus on the Spirit. Because if the Spirit is in you, then the Spirit guides you. And you'll know if the things in which I say are true or false. That's up to you. I don't really care. But the glory of God comes in the grace of God, which takes a sinner and calls him a child, which calls him a son or a daughter, whichever case you may be. But like Jesus said, who are my brothers and my sisters, my mothers? But those that do the will of my Father. And sometimes you have to change your point of view in the things in which you're taught to understand his point of view towards you. And his point of view towards you is that he loves you. He loves you more than you'll ever know. He loves you more than sitting on a pew on Sunday church trying to be somebody you're not. So anyway, think about it. Think about his word. Sometimes you have to change what you're looking at to understand who's looking at you. So today I just want to tell you something. I love you. And it's good talking to you. And just so you know, this is my point of view. Now, have a blessed day. See you later. Bye.